Welcome to Viben Gold, a collection of guided meditations put into podcast form for your easy listening. My name is Vivian Gerard, and I will be walking with you through the intoxicating now moments of life here on this planet. These audios are intended to be used as a full meditation if you want to close your eyes, settle down into a comfy spot, and let your subconscious come all the way forward. Or it can simply be some background conversation where the nuggets of information that you most need will make their way into your awareness. Whichever way it works for you, I invite you to open up and enjoy fully this journey of life that we are all taking together. So much love to you.
Good morning and welcome to Soul Shine. It is Sunday, August 14th, and I am back home after a week at the beach and settling in. So it is good to be here with all of you. Let's go ahead and drop right in. So we'll start with the breath. Go ahead and pay attention to your breathing. So notice if you are sleepy and just waking up and your breath is relaxed, or if you've been racing, arriving on the call and your breathing is fast. That was actually me. I'll be transparent. I did my meditation and I was racing around trying to get my tea and get all set up. So I'm noticing for myself like a real need to slow the pace down. So we'll go ahead and do that together. Go ahead and breathe in through your nose, and then we'll breathe out long and slow through the mouth. So breathe in and out. Good, and go ahead and do it again. So breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, long and slow. And notice yourself arriving here, settling back into your body as you slow the pace down and focus on your breath. Yeah, so what I noticed this morning was how after a week away with my family, my energy was so tangled up in all of them and their activities, and coming back home, it felt tight, like there was a lot of contraction around me. And I was looking at that this morning and feeling how there's such a match for that energetically really across the world at this time. Everyone's bumping into each other's spaces, lots of conflict, lots of arguing, lots of fighting, lots of discord. And so what I would like us to do this morning is spend some time unraveling a little bit, or a lot in my case, right? Unraveling our energy from the people and the places and the things that we attach ourselves to. And it's normal to do that, right? Obviously, we're humans. It's about connection and how we interact and how we learn and grow from each other. So it's natural to weave in and out of other people's spaces. But this hour each week, whether you do it once a week or you meditate every day, this time is about feeling just your energy, just you in your space, so that you can stay clear on what it is that you want to create in your life and how you want to navigate in your relationships. And so this pause to come back into just you is such a gift. It's such a gift of time and space. So in this moment, go ahead and imagine that the whole center of your body, so from your neck down to your hips, is just one giant magnet, and it has your name on it. It has your signal that is unique to you, your specific code that only your energy would recognize. And imagine you can just start to turn the signal louder. So if your volume knob was maybe at a 3 or 4, imagine you can just turn it up. So we're going to go to a 5, right from the beginning. We'll just start at 5. And just allow your energy to come back into you. What I noticed for myself was it looked like long ropes or cords that had me connected to each of the people that was with me on the trip. And I think that's a way of me keeping them safe, making sure I have tabs on everyone, that everyone's happy and having a good time. There's this winding around all of those people I love that I did for the week. And by the end of the week, you don't know what's you and what's them. At least that was true for me. So this morning I was just unraveling those ropes. So perhaps notice as you're turning the volume up to a 5, are there places where you have thick cords connecting you to someone? Or maybe it's like a spider web, right? Like there's millions of thin, tiny little spirals going out. But the combination of them is so powerful that it's like a web around the other person. Or perhaps it's around a thing, if you're really attached to a project you're working on right now, or if there's a goal that you have in mind and a lot of your energy is out in front of you trying to achieve that thing. Imagine you can just start to unwind some of that and pull the webbing, pull the cord, whatever visual you see. Start to pull it back into you. Yeah, and it can be like a fishing reel, right? It just winds itself back up, and then you just have to unhook at the end so that you're not bringing that person or that project or that thing also right into your physical body. You're just bringing your energy back. You're unhooking from them. Yeah, take your time as you do this. Right? There were 6 people on the trip with me, so it took some time this morning for me to unravel from each of them. And if it brings up concern or resistance, right, like I don't want to unravel from that person because I'm crazy about them and I want to actually be with them, and so why would I unravel from something that is so fun and so good? Same with the vacation. Why would I leave my energy when the vacation is so good? Couldn't I just stay there? Why do I have to come back? The answer is presence. It's being in this moment. If you're trying to hold on to something in the future or hold on to something in the past, it keeps you out of being here in this moment on this call, where your soul is waiting to create new magic, something you haven't been able to create before because you are different in this moment than you've ever been until now. So the way I like to address my brain when it says, no, don't leave the vacation, stay there, stay in the party. What I like to tell my mind is it's okay because I trust there's even better vacations coming. There's even better moments in those relationships. There's even more pleasure that is going to arrive. And so as I allow my energy to come back into here and now, I can fully appreciate what has been created and be so present that what's coming next can expand. It's not going to be limited by the view of what it looked like last time. It's expanded into something even wider because I'm present here. Yeah, slow your breathing down again. And then go ahead and turn the volume on that magnet in the core of your body up to a 7. Yep, if you feel ungrounded at all, just go ahead and plant your feet on the floor. Feel yourself hook right into the earth. You're not going to fly away if more of you comes back into this moment, this body. You're actually going to land more solidly, so more can be created. So go ahead and turn the volume up a little bit bigger. Let's go 7.5, maybe an 8. Use your breath. Slow the pace down and let all of your energy start to come in and settle into your body. You can run it down to your feet. You can stretch your energy all the way out to your fingertips. almost as if your arms were stretched so wide, right? And the energy could just wiggle its way all the way out to the fingernails. Yep. And then bring more energy back in. If you see images or a name of a person or a project or something pops up as you're doing this, it's just a way for you to be aware. This is something that is taking a lot of my attention. So not to judge that, but just to be aware. Right? I was surprised this morning how I was so entangled still with all of those people. I really thought I'd been clearing energy most of the way home. And then we got home and I sent a couple of the friends home that my daughter brought with her. I'm like, yes, great. Everyone's going where they need to be. But I was still so attached to taking care of, protecting, making sure they were happy. And so it took the awareness for me to start to let that go and then pull my energy back in. So notice that for yourself. If something comes up as you're looking at this, it's just to show you where your attention, your energy is going. So if you choose, you can unhook from that. Yep, and then pull your energy in. There you go, good. Good. Notice how your body is settling. Right? Mine was really jittery this morning. I woke up at 5 o'clock and couldn't go back to sleep, and I was just laying there. My mind was bouncing all over. And what I find always in meditation is this settling in, right? The heartbeat calms, the mind slows down, the physical body can start to relax. Let's go ahead and turn it up one more time. Let's go all the way to a 9 or a 10, depending on how you're feeling. Yep. And the way to notice the difference would be when you start to feel uncomfortable again, right? Like maybe it's too intense or it's hard to breathe, or you might get lightheaded. You might, it just might feel too tight. If that's the case, just back the number down a little bit. If you went to a 10, go back to a 9. And remember, we started at about a 3, a 4, and turned up to a 5. So in just a few moments, by bringing your focus to this practice, you've already brought so much of your energy back in. So the point of these calls on Sunday is to remind you, to show you, to provide new ways of playing with your energy so that you can apply those in your daily life. So if you can do this in the community in just a few moments, just think if each morning you just spend 5 minutes by yourself, just pulling your energy in. Or before you go to bed, right, when we're racing in our minds all the things we didn't get done or what we have to put off until tomorrow's list. If you can pull all those cords and connections back into you, and then go into your sleep space, your dream space, 80% present, 90% in your body. The creative energy that you're taking into sleep is so powerful. So powerful, and that's really a magical place. You know, it's a powerful place for creating. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Okay, use your breath. Feel yourself here in your body. And then start to notice your body. So we've called all of your energy back in. Notice how your body is feeling as we do that. So if it feels calm and peaceful, awesome. Go ahead and just relax more into the chair where you're sitting. Let your muscles take a chill pill, take a loosening, a relaxing. If you're noticing that there's a contraction or a pain or might even feel like a cramp, in a certain part of your body, just notice where your body is trying to talk to you. You might be yawning or burping, or sometimes when I move a lot of energy and I'm yawning a lot, my eyes will start watering. I think I'm crying, but it really just feels like energy is coming out the tear ducts. So just notice how your body is feeling in this moment. And then perhaps put a little side note in your brain for later. You know, if there's a part of your body that is especially contracted, or you can feel the block, and just make a note to look up what that body part represents in the Louise Hay book when we're done. And then use that as a guide into your own meditation time this week. You know, here is a place that needs some attention, and we'll start moving the energy out so that it can just flow more freely through your body. Yeah. So in this moment, go ahead and imagine that your feet can become dense and solid and magnetic, and can start to connect in with the earth. One of my clients uses moon boots as an example, and it works for her instantly every time. So you can imagine that your feet have those boots, those heavy, solid boots of gravity. For me, I prefer imagining roots at the bottoms of my feet. And so as I plant my feet, I even use that word, right? As I plant my feet on the carpet, I just visualize that roots are starting to grow down into the earth from the bottoms of my feet. Yeah. And each time is different. You know, sometimes when I do that, I can feel the roots growing immediately way down into the earth, and it's like I just hooked right in and there's no resistance. Sometimes, like this morning when I was meditating, it was flowy and wobbly, and, you know, there was this, it was like the breeze was blowing underneath my feet and the roots just weren't going down. So notice for yourself, you know, how do you feel as you bring your attention down to your feet? And then let's practice the visualization. So bring focus. Bring your attention to the bottoms of your feet, and then visualize, picture, almost like you're drawing it with your mind. Underneath your feet, start drawing roots, or drawing gravity, or light beams, or sparkly dust, whatever connection feels solid and good to you. Imagine you're actually drawing it. You're creating the picture in your mind, and it's going through whatever the surface is underneath your feet. So for me, there's another whole floor underneath where I'm sitting. So I just picture green roots that are going from my feet right through the room underneath me. And then they hit that floor. And then they go underneath the surface of the house into the dirt of the earth. Yeah, and then I just picture them going into the earth. And when I first started doing this, I pictured dirt as dense and solid. So how could my imaginary roots make it through that, right? Like there was a forcing or a pushing that felt like it needed to happen. And what I play with now is, as I see the roots going into the earth starts to make space for the roots. So there's a welcoming, right? The earth sits underneath me, sits underneath this house and holds this home with such strength and love. And so, of course, when I want to connect into the earth and picture roots going down, the earth says, yay, yes, you remembered. I'm right here in every moment. You just forget. It's like the prodigal son returning home, right? Like, yes, you're at home. There is this longing that I feel from the earth for humans to remember that we're actually all part of this one globe, this one nature, this one breath. And when we visualize, when we bring our attention to our feet and we visualize connecting or hooking into the earth, there's a celebration. Yeah, so imagine that the earth in this moment is dancing, is beating her drum, welcoming your energy through these roots, right? Because your physical body can't go and sit under the earth all day long every day, but the roots that you energetically connect to the earth with, those can stay all day. So you can visualize going as deep as you would like to. You know, what if in this moment the earth parts like, you know, Moses with the Red Sea, she parts the earth and your roots can go a mile down. And it's just a dance, it's a party of a mile down into the earth because she has been waiting for you to do this. And as you reach that mile, there are tributaries that open up so that your roots can go out, a mile out underneath you in every single direction. So there's like a spider web underneath the earth, right? Millions of little tiny roots that start to grow a mile down, and they go out in all directions. And when they go a mile out, they can start to go down again. And now there's millions of roots that are opening up in the earth and going 2 miles down. And it becomes this beautiful play. I believe that so few people are conscious of this, are aware of how the earth wants to support us, that there is so much room under the surface of the earth available for anyone who brings their awareness down. I think it's busier above the surface of the earth, right, above the ground in the atmosphere. There's a whole bunch of energy there. Big soupy mess of mentality. But underneath there is such resource available to us. And so in the choice of creating time, of bringing your attention and hooking in, connecting down, the earth can delight in supporting you. So what you may have felt is, for me, I feel usually a tightness in my root chakra, in my second chakra. When I go deeper into the earth, it gets tighter in those 2 chakras specifically. And the deeper I go, the more that tightness starts to go up my chest. So for me, it's validation, or I don't know if that's the right word. It's like a wink from the earth, like, yep, yeah, I see you. I know you're hooked in, because your body is recognizing physically that something has shifted energetically. And when you tune into your body, when you pay attention to the way energy moves through it, like you're doing right now, your body can talk to you so quickly and so accurately. And so as you connect into the earth deeper and deeper, and your body feels denser or heavier or tighter, there's a way for you to realize you're in partnership now. That you and the earth are co-creating in this moment, in this space of presence, something that wasn't possible before when you were hooked into all those other things up here. Yeah, so what I like to do when I feel that tightness is push it a little further, just to see, like, how far down do I want to root? When does it start to feel uncomfortable, right? Just like turning the volume up on calling your energy back. When you reach that part that's like, ooh, go back. I do that also with my rooting. So as you root down, Notice where it feels comfortable and solid and supported. And then when it starts to root too far down and it feels uncomfortable, or you find yourself like hunching way over because you're being pulled down to the earth, that's the time to consciously pause the rooting where it is. Relax your body. Relax your muscles. And then allow your feet to be the transmitter, the space through which any blocks in your body can be sent down into the earth. So when the roots are going down, we're focusing on what's happening underneath the earth. Your feet are the connection point. So as you feel like you've pushed a little too far and you pull back your roots just a tiny bit, that's the signal like, okay, now I can see what in my physical body is ready to move and release through my feet into those roots that just went all the way down. And this is where you might also find yourself yawning or burping again. As you hook your feet in and you have the root system underneath the earth, and you're cueing your body or reminding your body, now's the time to let go of those stuck places. Even if I don't know what they are, I don't care what they are. I'm just going to move some of the blocks. Even as the energy moves down to your feet to go into those roots, you might find there's also a release that comes up through your throat as a yawn. Yeah, so just yawn. It's so easy. You just start yawning. I was sitting outside when we were at the ocean last week, and our rental home had this awesome little balcony, and there was all this wind and sea spray. The one day it was raining just a little bit, and so I was sitting outside doing this 30-minute satanama meditation that I love, and I just started yawning. It was the sea salt mixed with just being present, with feeling like just the gorgeousness of the moment in the ocean. I think I yawned for 20 minutes straight. My jaw hurt, my mouth hurt, my eyes were watering, but it felt so good to just clear. I didn't even know what it was. It didn't even matter. It just felt so good to clear stuck spaces. So in this moment, you can just play with, what if you pretend a yawn? What if you, right? Like fake a yawn. Usually what happens when you're present like this and grounded and you fake a yawn, it just starts bubbling and then energy just starts going. And pretty soon you couldn't stop yawning if you tried. So you can play with this while I keep talking if you want, but it's just energy shifting inside your body and needing an outlet. If you start tearing up or crying, awesome, let the energy move, right? There's nothing in this moment that is hurting you. It's just presence and awareness. I've already yawned a lot, so I don't know that I'm going to do more right now, but feel free to yawn while I keep going. Yeah. All right, so roots all the way down as far as feels comfortable. Your energy in you, present here, moving energy if you have some things that are ready to go. Yeah. All right, and let's invite Source to come join us for, Source is already here, but let's just invite your version of God, Source, Creator, One Energy, to be present with you, to be felt by you. It was so interesting when I was at the beach. You're going to get all these examples today of the beach because that's what's most present for me. But I was laying in the sand on my towel, and I love to play like rooting music or shamanic music when I'm laying by the ocean, because you can still hear the waves, but you have this combination of magical noises and sounds with the ocean. And it's amazing how much wind comes in from the ocean towards the shore. And as I was laying there, and I could just feel this constant wind hitting my body, hitting my face, and this music in my ears, and the salt smell, it was it was heaven to me. Like, it's such a beautiful healing space for my body, my soul. But I felt like the wind literally was spirit. And people have said that, Native American tradition, I think, really emphasizes that. But there was something so tangible for me in that moment, those moments by the beach, feeling source, wind, spirit, right, never left. Never. Like, there was just always this wind coming towards my body, around my body, in my ears, in my hair. Like, there was just this constant connection through the wind of what I consider to be source for me, the original breath, as I call it in Soul Filters, the original breath, the very first breath that began all life. Of course, it would be as a wind, as a breath. So in this moment, what you can do is slow everything down in your physical body, in your mind. Feel the roots underneath you. And then whether you're sitting inside or outside, it doesn't matter. You can just feel or sense any air movement on you. Of course, as I said that, the air conditioner kicked on here, and so there's this movement of air all around my physical body. But just feel, whether there's movement or not, there is air that you are breathing in every single moment, in every single breath. And it comes in through the nose, and it goes down into the body, and it goes into the heart. Source in you, your heart beating with breath. And there's more that comes in after that. And when you yawn and you exhale, it's energy moving, it's source coming in and moving stuff, physical stuff inside your body that comes out through the yawn, it comes out through the burp, it comes out through the tears. And there's more that comes in after that. Allow yourself to feel the abundance of this moment, the comfort of knowing that there is always another breath coming for you until you choose that you're complete. Yeah, I'm going to give you just a moment to focus on your breath and perhaps give it a color or a vision or whatever feels right to you as you breathe in through your nose and you feel the air moving down to your heart, your lungs, and coming out your mouth again. Feel how source can be a part of each one of those breaths, those movements through your physical body, simply because you've brought your awareness to it. I'm going to give you a minute to just feel that. Beautiful. What a gift our breath is. Yeah, really what a gift life is, Okay, so keep your feet planted, and then you can allow your yawns to continue, even as I'm talking, things come up. Allow the energy to match, to just move right out. So you can just yawn it away, and you don't even need to know what it is that you're moving. So in the email that I sent out about the call for this week, the title was Rule Yourself, and if you've had a chance to watch it, you'll understand some of the parallels I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'll share with you just a recap. So there's an advertisement that Michael Phelps made, the swimmer, the Olympic swimmer, about 5 months ago with Under Armour, and they've been playing it, or I've seen it several times this past week as he's been just crushing the Olympics in swimming. And it's just a remarkable ad, especially given the way I see energy work. And so in the ad, it starts off with him, you don't know it's him, but you understand it probably is him, looking at an empty pool, and it's dark, and then you go under the water and you can see him. He must have just dived into the water, and so he's swimming and he's coming up for air. And then for the next minute and a half, you see all these different flashes of him laying in bed with his eyes closed, sleeping, and then it would flash to the pool, and he's swimming fast and he's at the Olympics, and then it would show him standing outside a deserted old pool, and then it flashes to him at the Olympics and he's winning, and then it shows all the hard work, him at the gym, him eating a lot of food, all of these different activities that support this vision that he obviously is holding, and it keeps coming back to him asleep. And then at the end, it says, it's what you do in the dark that puts you in the light. And it shows him standing there with a spotlight on him. Obviously, he's just crushed it. He's won. And it's just a remarkable ad because it brings all of this into such a tangible, physical, embodied story that I think anyone can get. A lot of athletes, I've read quite a bit about them saying, I visualized it, I saw it, I pictured myself with the trophy, or I pictured myself on the winner's stand. I picture myself hitting that ball out of the park, and that's what gets me to that level of performance, of success. But this ad really showed it so vulnerably. So I did some research because I didn't know a lot about Michael Phelps. I mean, I've seen him, obviously, everyone I think has. But I started doing a little research, like, what is his story? How did he even hit this level? I think 28 Olympic medals now, 23 of them are gold, 5 Olympics, and he's only 31 years old. Like, this guy is a machine in some sense. His body is such a tool for him that he's mastered. And so when I was researching, it was interesting because the stories about him show something significant must have happened between the old Olympics and this one that he's in now, because they described him before as sullen, withdrawn, not social, not wanting to engage in the community of the Olympic, athletes, putting his headphones on and his hoodie up and not talking to people, not wanting to do interviews. And this time is very different. So I was looking at what it said about his past, and apparently he had a DUI when he was 19, got suspended, I think, from swimming for a while. There were pictures of him smoking pot in a party when he was 24. He lost his Kellogg's sponsor and got suspended again. In between all this, he's doing the Olympics, though, and training and obviously pushing himself and being very successful. But there's this side, this contrast, this shadow for him. And then again, when he was 29, another DUI. This time, I think he was suspended 6 months, which put him out of the qualifiers for some of the things that he needed to meet for swimming. And there was a beautiful story that he ended up going into rehab before he started training again for this Olympics, and faced some of his stories, his shadows, his wounds, perhaps. And so when he arrived at this Olympics, he came and apparently has been, from what these articles are saying, engaged, happy, relaxed. He has a fiancé and a baby, He was selected to be the flag bearer for the U.S. team, and apparently the story says that he cried when they invited him to do that. There's a softness, a tenderness to him that hadn't been present from what the accounts say in the past Olympics. And so I was amazed at the story, right? Because what a journey for such a young man. He's only 31, like how much he has lived through already. And then to tie that back to the ad, the ad was about, it's what you do in the dark that puts you in the light. And the first time I saw that and watched it, I was thinking, it's all only about visualization. Yes, awesome. Like, he uses visualization in such a positive, huge way, and the success is so easy to see. But when I read his story, it felt like this other whole piece came with it. It's what he has been doing in the dark. It's the pain, the disappointment, the having to stop and look at his shadow that now allows him to enjoy the light. Because he was in the light before, but not present for it, not in the moment of it, not celebrating in the fullest, where now it feels like he really is. The athletes have said he is such a leader this time. He is so kind, and there was one story, I don't know why this is making me want to cry. There was one story where apparently he was walking across from a competitor, another athlete who's younger than him, and Michael Phelps actually walked up and asked for a photograph with that younger athlete. What a humble thing to do for an athlete that obviously is dominating the Olympics in a way that no other athlete has done. So I was sitting with all of that this morning and feeling how the work that we do in the dark, the stopping and looking at our stuck places and sitting in the muck sometimes and feeling the heaviness, right, the shadow, the darkness of things is what we least want to do, right? We'd rather avoid that. We'd rather avoid the pain, avoid that, and just be in the light and be happy and enjoy everything. And having to sit in the shadow just doesn't feel like what we want to do. But this story of Michael Phelps, to me, it shows the power of healing the shadow, the power of healing the blocks. And the ad is such a quick visual of that. Like, you do the work in the dark, you do the visualization, and you do the clearing of your shadow, so that when you step into the light, it's that much sweeter. It's that much more powerful. Kai Pacha was talking about that today, or this week, in his Pele report, The Astrologer. He was saying, a lot of people just want to always feel good and be happy, and it's all good. And he said that he used to build houses, and he said, sometimes we screw up. We make mistakes. He said, you make this I-beam, you go to put it up, and you realize you measured it wrong, and you spent 3 hours working on it, and now you're going to have to take it all down, remeasure, put it back up. He's like, we make mistakes. And he phrased it so beautifully. He said, the mistake to me is that we stop knowing ourselves. And that's where we get off track. Right? That's where we start to get lost. And then it's hard to find the light from that place. I love Abraham Hicks, and I know a lot of people I know also love her. And what she talks about, what Esther talks about through Abraham is, being in this vortex, reaching for the better thought, reaching for the thing that is going to make you feel happier. And I've always struggled just a little bit with the reaching part, the going outside to find something good that is going to make me feel better or happier, but it takes me out of whatever is present for me right here in this moment. And there's sort of a push-pull that I feel that I haven't quite been able to reconcile. And when I was looking at the story of Michael Phelps, it feels like the answer is somewhere in the middle. You know, the visualization, the clear image he had of success at the Olympics, the knowing that that was what he was going to achieve, gave him the light to focus on. It gave him the goal to say, that's the thing I'm doing. But when he dodged all the shadow and he didn't address whatever the rumblings were in his mind that made him want to check out, you know, with addictions, it kept coming up. It kept surfacing because it wasn't being felt or addressed, or perhaps he wasn't allowing space for it to teach him the lesson, and so the lessons had to keep coming back. So somewhere in the middle of this feels important, you know, to have the clear goal, but to not be dodging what comes up along the way, because if we dodge it, it's just going to keep coming back until we address it. I have an example from the ocean. So when we went, it was me, and then I had my daughter and her two girlfriends, and I had my son and his cousin and my husband. So there were literally 3 girls, 3 boys, me in the middle. And the boys always wanted to be doing something, and the girls always wanted to be doing something else, and there was me in the middle trying to negotiate and mediate, right, in my strength. Let's all come together and do it this way. So when we went to the beach the first day, my son and my nephew, who was with us, had already been telling me that the jellyfish are really bad. Everyone has been telling us, the news has been reporting, jellyfish are really bad. We're just going to have to watch out for them so we don't get stung. So, of course, we go in the water. The girls, who could care less, they're just at the beach and they're happy and excited. Nobody gets stung. The boys, all 3, jellyfish stings. The one, so bad, like my husband had welts on his arm. Took all the pain for us, right? There's the masculine, taking all the pain for the feminine, getting all the wounds. So they come out and they're upset, and it's not going to be a good week because the jellyfish are going to ruin the week for us, and what are we going to do? Literally every single day, boys all got stung, girls never got stung. A couple times I would feel like a prick, you know, like a little something on my arm or my leg. I'd rub it with the salt water and it would go away, and I'd go back out into the ocean. The girls boogie boarding, swimming, jumping, diving. By the 3rd day, 4th day, the boys didn't want to be in the ocean anymore. They'd totally given up on their vision that it was going to be fun time in the ocean because of these stings, which, by the way, jellyfish spirit medicine is about simplicity and getting back into the moment and being able to enjoy yourself. It couldn't have been more perfect, right? The girls, nothing the whole week. Everybody was fine. So by day 5 or 6, the boys didn't want to be in the water. The girls were still going, no more jellyfish. They'd all cleared out. So we were just laughing about it, my husband and I, yesterday when we were doing our last walk on the ocean before we got in the car, last walk on the beach. He was saying, I can't believe now is so nice, right? Now, the last day, there's no jellyfish. We always get the wrong week. We always get the timing wrong. Oh, it was just so funny. And so the parallel to me is, you know, there's a way that they went in expecting that it was going to be this difficult experience, and they created exactly that. The girls went in the moment. We all went in with feminine in the moment, trusting it was going to be fine, and even if we get a little sting, it's going to all work out. And that was the experience we created. So I don't believe that it always has to sting. I don't believe it always has to be painful, or someone has to go into rehab to look at their shadow, or, you know, it has to be this dreadful, terrible experience. I believe you can move energy just the way we did earlier, by yawning, by burping, by crying. I believe it's best in community, you know, where you have people to witness and validate and cheer you on. Just like for Michael Phelps, right? There's something about the crowds that energizes him to a different level for him to perform like that. He is working with the energy of the crowd. So my suggestion is that the success, the achieving of the goal is that much sweeter when you've actually worked through the shadow or cleared the shadow or acknowledged the shadow, when you allow it to be touched or felt and then just released. You're not dodging anything. And so the achieving of what you want is that much better. So what I'd like to do, we have about 10 more minutes, is play with this energetically. So find one area, pick just one area in your life that is perhaps not measuring up to the vision of what you would like it to be. So often that is health or relationship or finances, right? All of those are ways that energy can quickly and tangibly be experienced. So just pick one thing, one area where you're not satisfied. It's not measuring up to what you want it to be. And then give it a visual. So if it's a relationship, you can picture that person. If it's your health, actually let me backtrack. If it's a relationship, picture you and that person in bliss, in the best of relationship, whatever that looks like for you. Dancing, playing, kissing, walking on the ocean, on the beach, not on the ocean. Picture bliss, right? You and that relationship in its highest form. If it's health, picture you with the body, the energy level, the strength, whatever it is that makes you feel like it will be a tangible success if you look or feel this way. Picture that in front of you. If it's finances, find a visual that shows you healthy finances. So maybe it's a bank statement, maybe it's an ATM receipt with the amount that you want to achieve in your bank account in there. Maybe it's a certain number of client hours, or maybe there's something you want to buy with the money. So find a visual that shows the success. Right? For Michael Phelps, it was him with crowds of people roaring because he knew he just achieved gold. Right? So go ahead and put the visual out in front of you. Yeah, notice first how far away it is from you. So if it feels very achievable, you might find it's almost right in front of your eyeballs, right? It's right there in front. If it feels like, oh, there's no way I'm ever going to get there, it may be so far off in the distance. So notice the distance first, and then see, this is what we're going to play with. What is the distance teaching you? Right? Everything in energy space has a meaning. So if it's close to you, feel that, right? Is it, I'm frustrated because I can tell it's right here and I just can't quite get it? Or if it's far away, I'm frustrated because it feels like it's so out of reach, it will never be achieved. So notice what the distance is teaching you. And then allow yourself to feel the frustration for a moment. Right? What Esther Hicks would say here is, ignore the frustration. I believe, I'm not her, but I believe what she would say is ignore the frustration and just feel, reach for the goal, reach for the thing. So it's like you're trying to jump over what this first piece is trying to teach you, or a block that's in the way that you could perhaps move instead of trying to jump over it. So feel what the frustration is teaching you. It might bring to mind a story from the past of where you didn't have that relationship you wanted, or your body let you down, or finances weren't what they were supposed to be. You got screwed. Right? If it's a story, allow that memory to surface. And then let the emotions, the match, the original root of the frustration, make its way out of your body. So you can yawn it out, right? You can just go, oh, that old story again. Right? I'm going to move some of that. I don't need to hold on to that. You can let your feet get really powerful and magnetically start to pull the matches to that story down through your body and out through your feet into the earth. It doesn't matter which way you move the energy. Just allow it to shift. Yeah, what else? What else is the distance teaching you? What other moments does it remind you of? Or where else have you felt this frustration? Right? For me, I noticed this past week there was almost a sense of powerlessness because there were so many different opinions within the group, and, everyone had their own way of thinking about it, and it was just exhausting to try to make everyone happy and then speak my truth. And so I found that I went into some of my shadowy, victim, no one even cares, no one's listening, I don't have an opinion that matters, right? Which is so silly. But in the moment it felt so real. So feel like in this moment, as you look at the distance between you and this thing that you want, is there a sense of powerlessness? If there is, where have you felt this before? And which part of it is ready to move in this moment? Yeah, just move it. Right? Bringing up the shadow doesn't mean you have to sit in it and believe it and drown in it and avoid the ocean because you might get stung by a jellyfish again. Right? It just means, there's this thing. There's this shadow. There's this block. So glad I'm aware of it because now I can deal with it, fix it, move it, clear it, journal about it. Pound the pavement when I'm running and let it move out my feet, right? You can start to work with it when you see it and just touch it, release it. Good. All right, so let's imagine all of the stuff about distance, how far away it is or close it is, can just be neutralized. Whatever you've been feeling in the last couple of minutes can just move its way out. And then the thing that you want can come closer to you if it was far away, or move back a little bit if it was too close. So now perhaps if you put your hand out, you can actually touch that thing that you would love to have. Right? So you could put your hand on your arms if you're visualizing a healthy body and you can feel the strength of the muscles. Right? Or if it's, your bank account with a different balance on it, you can print the receipt out and literally put your hand on it and hold it. Right? Here's this receipt of how much is in there. If it's the relationship, it's like you could put your hand out and touch that person's cheek and know that they are willing to receive that love from you, that support from you. Or you receive it from them. Yeah, so notice in your body any resistance, any flashes of old memories, any belief in old patterns that have felt so true before. And just start yawning in this moment. Just start moving some of it. Could you clear the story about this whole thing that we're looking at in 10 minutes? Yeah, perhaps you can. Why not? Could it be the opening that you can come back to in your own meditation time and release more and sit with this visualizing and see, if I could picture this thing that I'm craving, that I'm desiring so much. What's in the way of it? And let me just start moving. What's in the way? Let me clear the blocks on the way to that, holding that thing that I want so steadily in front of me. the clearing what is between me and that thing. Another fun way to play with it is, as you visualize that thing in front of you, you can just imagine underneath the distance between you and that thing is just a huge ocean of water or a river or whatever would feel comfortable to you. And you can just have the water start pulling any matches out of that distance that's hanging above the water, right? Almost like raindrops are coming from the thing. I don't know if I'm describing it well. In between you and that thing you want is perhaps a line of connection, and any blocks can just drop weights from the line down into the water underneath. So it's just like, that block down into the water, and that block down into the water. Yeah, it's all energy. It's just energy moving. So you find creative ways to let it start to move. And you release and release and release. And hold steady that thing that you're headed towards. Often people say it's the why, not the how. And I think this is such a beautiful example of that. It's the why you want that relationship, what it brings or feels inside of you, or the why the healthy body or the healthy bank account. Why is that important? What does it provide for you? Not the how I'm going to get there. Okay, we are right at 11. So in this moment, just go ahead and plant your feet on the floor. You can yawn or you can move it at your feet. Any last matches to anything that came up on this call, you can go ahead and just run it out. Down and out your feet or out through your mouth with a yawn. Or both. Yeah, and then feel Source sending you breath again. Without you even paying attention, Source was with you the entire way through the call, filling your lungs, filling your heart, filling your body. And so it continues all week. So much love from my heart to each of you. Have a beautiful day today. Mwah.